श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तः पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। Hari Om and Namaskar to everyone. Om Bhadran Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। I was asked to clarify the statement etat jnanam cha dhyanam cha. How can knowledge and meditation be one and the same? Shesho nyayasta vistaraha. Verse number 5. How can meditation and knowledge? What is knowledge of our own true nature? Vedanta knowledge I am talking. What is knowledge? I am infinite Brahman. That is the knowledge. You have to nod if you think you've understood it. Yes? Vedanta knowledge is what? Aham Brahmasmi, I am that infinite, right? So when you're meditating, what are you doing? Vedantic meditation, not chakra meditation. Vedantic meditation is what? I am Brahman. Is it true or not? This is an attempt at that only. So both are they the same or are they different? See, all the other things that you do, focus on your breathing or some mantra and all, those are what? Those are only preparations. Very clear? So when the actual meditation you are doing, what are you doing? Aham Brahmasmi. And what is knowledge? Aham Brahmasmi. So the process is also called what? We call the process as meditation and the end result is also meditation. Guruji has a beautiful book, really, I love that book. It's called Dhyana Swarupam. If you don't have that book, please get it. Yeah, and in that the definition of dhyana is lovely. Dhyanam nama swarupasya sahajam bhanam uchyate. What? The effortless awareness of your own true nature is called meditation. And what is that? Jnanam. You understand? So the process, the efforts are also called meditation. Like I am saying, I am preparing tea. Actually, you are doing only boiling water and all that, but still what are you doing? You are calling tea. The final product is called, even the means is also called the final product. Is it true or not? So similarly here also, etad dhyanam, the dhyana as a practice, and the culmination of dhyana is what? The effortless awareness of the self, which is nothing but what? Jnana. Is it okay? Is not, we talked about meditation. So withdrawing from the outside and focusing inside. So the question arises, valid question, is that not like an escape which I talked about? You know, whenever there is a problem, you want to escape from the problem. So is not withdrawing from that also an escape? See, those other methods of not identification, not justification, not blaming, not, all those are not the final, will not lead to what? Final realization. It is only at the level of dealing with the mind on a day-to-day basis. Be able to accept that this is there and then deal with the problem. Is that very clear? But in meditation, what are you doing? Nirvishayam manaha, a mind completely free of any objects. It doesn't matter whether it is raga or dvesha, it is love or it is hatred. Everything you are what? Just withdrawing the mind from that and immersing it where? In this justification and all, there is no immersing in the self. Isn't it true? So can meditation be called an escape? In fact, it is a thing where there is no escape. Okay, now one we say no, withdraw and then put. So is it step 1 withdraw, step 2 put? Is it like that? See, many times now what happens now, speakers are very chalak. They will give the question in such a way that the answer is suggested, and that's a dangerous thing. So what happens? Can meditation and can withdrawing and putting in the same way? Then you will say immediately no, because you will sense what? That I want you to say what? You get the point. So I am not going to do that. Step 1, withdraw. Step 2, are they 2 different steps or is it 1? Think. Detached from the lower, attached to the higher. You've heard that also before, right? So are there 2 steps? Detached from the lower, attached to the higher. Okay, when you walk, which everyone knows, how do you walk? You take 1 step forward, then you take up your leg from the back, or you first take the leg from the back and then you put your leg forward. You've done it all your life, come on. How do you do it? You pick up the leg from the back, then you put it in the front. Or what do? You put your leg in the front and then you pick up the leg from the back. Swamiji, can you demonstrate walking? Just walk normally, now don't get conscious. What is he doing? Don't say he's walking. I want you to see what he's doing. Lift your lungi a little bit. What is he doing? How is he doing it? Okay, please sit down. What did he do? Did he pick up the first leg and then it's simultaneous? Is it true or not? It's the same process. So, to the extent you withdraw, to the extent you are inside. To the extent you are inside, to the extent you are withdrawn. Is it okay? See, many times what happens now, we say all these things. That's why I say theoretical knowledge. So, all heard knowledge. If someone tells you step 1 this, step 2, you'll write it down and you'll say, oh, that is it. The minute you try to do it, you'll understand, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, the minute you have withdrawn, you're already, or the minute you are inside, you've already withdrawn. Is it okay? Yes? So it says, it is not step 2 and step 1. Then we were on this most wonderful verse, which was that, Naiva chintyam na cha chintyam na chintyam chintyameva tat. Isn't it? We were on that. Now, okay. Do you love Bhagwan? Whatever answer, doesn't matter. Yes. Do you love Guruji? Yes. Very much. You understand? Do you love Krishna? This beautiful idol. This beautiful, very lovely. Do you love, of course, Pujya Gurudev? Yes. Yes. So you have feelings. I don't want to make your mind terrible, but do you like war, death? You know, there's always this thing. So for everything in the world, you look at it with what? We've already taught, likes and dislikes. No. Yeah, everything. It's normal and natural. You know, we just look. Whether we want to or not, it just happens. Why? We never look at a thing just like that. There is always what is called savishesha jnana. Savishesha jnana means what? Some background noise. No. Background noise means background knowledge. What is this? No. What did you see actually? Did you see a pen or did you see just this shape? Shape. Now what happened? Background knowledge was there that this is called a pen. So it was not just the seeing that you did, you had this background knowledge which you brought in and you called it something. You get the point? So we never see anything without what? All our transactions are with what? Some background knowledge. Plus one background knowledge is what? That it is a pen. But I am looking at it what? With added background knowledge. What is that added background knowledge? My pen. You get this point. So more and more you keep adding to this simple act. What are you doing? You are not seeing it as it is, but you are seeing it as your mind is showing it. Very clear. Okay, all of you, are you seeing, what is this color? The simple questions, please. Orange, yes. Are you seeing the same orange? Are you seeing the same one? Yes? No. Why? The light strikes at a different angle from here, the light strikes at a different angle, and everyone's power is different. Is it true or not? Someone's forgotten their specs altogether, and then what happens? Some color, or someone has color blindness, then they'll see a different color. Is it true or not? So even though it's the same object, you are not seeing what is actually there, you are seeing what your senses and your mind show you. Very clear? So you never see it as it is, but you see it as it is shown to you. Now, if you have some background of Vimalananda, good or bad, how will you look at her? Please tell me. You will only look with that background. So people who are seeing me for the first time have a fresh look at me. You get the point? But that also is not that fresh. You are understanding? Still there is a what? Background. I hope all this is very clear to you. So we never see. Now here it is said what? That take out all this. When I want to see the truth, I have to see the truth as it is not as I want to see it. Very clear? What? So that is why it is said here. It cannot be thought of with all these layers of likes and dislikes and different other, even forget likes and dislikes, even any other background. That's why this third knowledge and all, you cannot have that. It has to be seen as it is. It cannot be thought of. Okay, fine. So now, do you love yourself? What is the feeling that you have towards yourself? I'm talking about the word feeling. Huh? You understand? That's why I said Gurudev, Guruji. All of you have feelings? Come on. Yes? Yes. So there's a feeling. You know the feeling. There's something. Now, as far as Atma is concerned, the self is concerned, I'm not talking about your body. You have feelings towards your body. I'm not talking about your mind. You have feelings about your mind. I'm talking about the self, which has got no body, no mind. What is the feeling towards that? Now, this is herd knowledge, complete herd knowledge. Atma Prem, you have heard all this. Atma Prem does not express as a feeling. What? That's why I said, no, herd knowledge is so powerful that only that comes out always. Atma Prem is extremely different, totally different from any other love in the whole universe, including love for God. Until and unless what? That God has become my Atma, then there is no feeling. Very clear? What? Not clear. See, I can love the body with feelings. I can love my mind with feelings. But that which has no characteristics, which is nirguna nirakara, what feelings can I have for that? Try and have feelings for all pervasiveness. Come on, what feeling can you have? For something which has zero characteristics, zero what? Any form, no shape, no size, no nothing, what is the feeling that you will have for that? Bolo. No feelings. No, absolutely no feelings. If you have a feeling, it will be for something else. Try. I love the self. How much? How much can you love the self? See, others you can love more, less, sometime, not all the time, etc. But self-love is what? Is nirvishesha. It's nothing, there's no particularity, there's no, I love myself. That love for myself will be for the body. Is it true or not? Or for the mind. But the self which is nirguna, you cannot have any feelings. Rama. But do you love? Yes, I love. What type of love is that? Feelingless love. Are Rama? Never heard of that. Can you try to think about these things that I am talking? Yeah? These are all for mananam, all these things, no? What is self-love? Just ask. And herd knowledge should not come because self is here, na? Is it with you or not? Bolo. Has the self, and you've heard enough to know what is the characteristics of the self, right? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, Nirgun, Nirakar, Akhanda, Anandi, Ananta, etc., etc., etc. Now, you love it. There's no one can say, I don't love the self. So now find out what is this love for the self. Any feeling that you will get, you will understand it's for the body or the mind. Remove all that. Na chintyam. Remove all that. And that is why this beautiful statement after that, which I asked you to underline, pakshapata vinirmuktaha, where all pakshapata, all likes, dislikes, all feelings, everything is gone, no prejudices, nothing. That is Brahma Sampadyate Tada. Let me explain this to you. It's a beautiful story. Uddhavji wanted to accompany Bhagwan Shri Krishna when he said, now it's time for me to pack up and go. I've done my work, all the Yadavas are all destroyed, now my time has come. So what happened? Uddhavji told Bhagwan that, you please take me to your Swadhama, I will ride pillion with you on your Garuda. You know, both of us will go like that together. This is my dear. Garuda also has no entry into my Swadhama. What are you talking? We have all heard that you take, Garuda is there with you. He's saying, I'm going to my Swadhama. Swadhama. Dhama means consciousness, my own pure nature. Swadhama. Garuda has no entry over there. Why he has no entry? Because he is Sapaksha. Paksha means wings. He is Sapaksha. He's got two wings. He's Pakshapati, and therefore my Swadhama is what? Pakshapata Vinirmuktaha. So Garuda also has no entry over there. This is written in Ekanathi Bhagavatam. Isn't it interesting? This is my true nature. In my true nature there is nothing. There is no Bhakta and Bhagwan difference. Got it? There's no duality. There's me and me, the pure consciousness alone and nothing else. Brahma sampadhyate tada. A devotee with a lot of effort, a bird with a lot of effort went to Vaikuntha. Bhagwan, I am so blessed to be over here. I am so blessed. Bhagwan said, okay, now you had my darshan. What do you want? I shall grant you your wish. You know what the bird asked? Bhagwan, please remove my wings. Cut out my wings. Why? Because my wings are such that will make me fly away. If my wings are gone, then what will happen? Please give us some water. Just take some water. No problem. So if my wings are gone, what will happen? I will not be able to fly. I will always remain here. So Pakshapata Vinirmuktaha Brahma Sampadhyate Tada. Have you understood that? That is when you attain Brahma. No Pakshapat, no likes, no dislikes, no. Isn't it interesting? Where you alone exist and nothing, that is the Brahman. So it is said over here that now what is very difficult is when we sit for meditation also to get, how do we maintain this sort of a thing where nirguna, you remove all the gunas, you remove all the, this. How do you do that? No object remains, nothing remains. Seems very difficult, na? So the process is explained now further on. It says, look, give us some easy way to do it. You say, no, don't talk this language, where we can't do anything. This all thoughts, all likes, all feelings, everything has to go away and you have to just be with the self. Seems difficult. Can you give us some sort of a support? So beautiful verse, the 7th verse. Swarena sandhayet yogam.
Swarena sandhayet yogam.
Aswaram bhavayet param.
Aswaram bhavayet param.
Aswarena anubhavena.
Aswarena anubhavena.
Bhavo va bhava ishyate.
Bhavo va bhava ishyate.
Together. Swarena sandhayet yogam. Aswaram bhavayet param. Aswarena anubhavena. Bhavo va bhava ishyate. Now, how do I meditate or how do I get this knowledge? So it is said, Swarena sandhayet. Take the help of a swara. Now what do you mean by swara? Here it is talked about as Om is the swara. You see, when people do music and this stuff, so they have a first one, they'll put sa, bass. Isn't it the first bass? I'm not singer, so I will not get it right. So anyway, no one can get a sa wrong, right? You can? Because everything starts with that sa, no? So you put wherever you put sa, wherever that is, you all decide whether it is sharp or less. So sa, okay. That's the base on that everything. Similarly, we pick up one swara which is a base of all sounds and all this. You take that as an aid and a support. To what? Aswaram bhavayet param. To reach the aswara. through swara you are meditating on aswara. How do you, and then what will happen? Aswarena anubhavena, by this meditation on the aswara, what happens? You go beyond all bhava, abhava, ishyate. All the bhavas become abhava. Let me explain. It's not difficult. It sounds all difficult. It's very simple. This. Okay. There is one thought. This is a thing, you can use Om or you can use anything. You can use whatever japa you have or anything, any sound. You have one sound, right? One thought. What happens to that thought? It goes away by itself. Then what happens? Another thought comes. That also goes away. Then what happens? Third thought comes. That also goes away. So the first focus is going to be on the thought or the sound. You take anything as an aid. Let it go away in its own time, doesn't matter. Then what you do? You focus on the next sound that came. Then you let it go away, focus on the third sound. So the first focus is going to be on the sound. Is that okay, everyone? We're going to practice this. Now, if we've taken Om, now we can do the practice of Om in 3 different ways or many different ways, in fact. And this is the most powerful mantra that anyone can ever have. Why? Because this is the base of all sounds. You cannot make the sound of Om or anything, you can't speak your own name without the word A. Try. And when you say any letter in the alphabet, at the end of that, A you will understand as a base. Let me explain. Our Sanskrit alphabet starts with what? The Sanskrit Devanagari starts with what? Ka. Okay? So, say Ka, all of you. Ka. Say it properly longer. What are you landing up saying? Say Ka. What did you land up saying? There is an inside the K. There is a inside a K. There is an for a background. Because any sound you make, it starts from the base of your throat. Beyond that, there is no sound. Of course, stomach sounds are there. That's different. I'm talking about speech. So, here you have a. So, a is the base sound. No other sounds can happen without this base sound. So, a is the first sound. Then when you move your lips a little bit, what happens? It will come as a O. And then when you close your mouth, what happens is this ma. So, a, u, ma, o. And this is normal for any sound, because when you open your mouth itself, a will start. And you close your mouth, ma will be there. You cannot say ma without try. Say ma without closing your lips. Try. Can you? So, so is already there. Huh? We normally, so the emphasis can be on or the normal one we do mostly swara. Okay, and we all do that because even if you focus on this, the mind becomes quiet to an extent. The whole vibrations of your body start changing. The environment starts changing, especially if done by long, a lot of people for a little period of time. You will see. So can we all do that? The first Om will be what? Emphasis on. The second will be emphasis on. Third will be emphasis on ma. Got it? We demonstrated. Okay. Hari Om. See, automatically your mind became quiet. You see how powerful this is. So, Swarena. So, you take the Swara and you Sandeh. First focus only on the sound. As you are doing it, just focus on the sound. Om, this is very powerful. Automatic pranayam will happen. Automatically the mind becomes little. So, we need the aid. All of a sudden withdrawing and all is difficult for us. So, this becomes, Om becomes what? A aid for us. It's a help. It's an alambanam. Etad alambanam shreshtham. That's what the Gita says. Etad alambanam param. Upanishads say this. It's the best alamban. So, you take this as an alamban as this. Now, if you want to keep your own Ishta mantra or something, Rama. So, you say Rama beautifully. Ram, 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 Ram. See, the beauty is this. Om, you can't put it to room. Oh, Om, that is not. But with Rama, you can do. Rama, 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 Rama. So, you can do whatever tune you want. Also, in the mind, what are we supposed to do? First, the focus is only on the sound and nothing else, no meaning, nothing, just on the sound. After some time, as the mind becomes quiet, focus the attention on the, make the gap between the sound a little more. First, don't make the gap also, make it Rama, 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 Rama. What? There's hardly a fraction of a second between the two Ramas. So, watch where that Rama comes from. Rama, 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 Rama. Okay? Your focus is on what? That gap between the, it's hardly anything, but your focus is there. And slowly what happens? Make it Rama, 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 Rama. So, what are you doing? In between, the gap is, now between the two gaps, what is there? If your mind is, if this is thought 1, this is thought 2, between that is no thought. You see? Abhava ishyate. What will you come to? Without thought. We want to make the mind what? Free of all Vishayas. So, you are taking the help of a Vishaya, a sound. Okay. So, Om can be a sound, anything. Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Om, you please don't chant, you only focus on the sound. Shri Ram. Want to close your eyes? You can. Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Open your eyes. If not anything, because it's difficult, immediately your mind must be, this, but at least it's become to an extent quiet, has it? These are all, whenever you are even agitated a little bit, or you're feeling, restless, and sit down, do this loudly, do it softly, do it whichever way you feel like. These are all powerful tools for what? Helping us to go within. Is it okay? We may not have Brahma Sampadyate, may not happen, but at least a beginning is possible. Is it okay? So, bhava abhava ishyate. You can go into a state where no thoughts are there, all the vishayas are gone. That is definitely possible. So Om is at basis. I told you. Have you ever wondered, such a huge mass of the earth is constantly moving. It's rotating around itself, and it's rotating around the sun, and there is air around it, so there is friction has to be there, right? It's going around. Don't you think there should be a sound there? What is that sound of the earth moving? There should be some sound. There is a huge mass. It cannot be soundless. Do we hear that sound? There are many times that anahata nada. This is ahata nada. Ahata means what? When two things clash, there is a sound. That is called ahata nada. The yogis meditate on what? Anahata nada. A nada which is not. What is that nada? Please discover. Find out what that is. What is that sound which happens without? I'm not going to give answers all the time, you understand, na? Because otherwise what will happen? I will say something, you will say, okay, fine, done. So don't question answer session tomorrow, that should not come. Find out. Now, Swamiji, this also could be difficult, it could be easy also, it's not that difficult. Now, what is the methodology of Vedanta? Very beautifully explained in the next verse. Can we go to that? 9th verse. Nirvikalpamanantam cha
Nirvikalpamanantam cha
Hetu drishtanta varjitam Aprameyamanadincha
अप्रमेयमनादिञ्च
yajñātvā muchyate buddha.
यज्ञात्वा
Together. Nirvika. Did I miss out a shloka?
Eight.
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Tadeva nishkalam brahma
तदेव निष्कलं ब्रह्म
nirvikalpam niranjanam
निर्विकल्पं निरञ्जनं
tadbrahmahamiti jñātvā
तद्ब्रह्माहमिति ज्ञात्वा
brahma sampadhyate dhruvam
ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते ध्रुवम्
nirvikalpamanantam cha
निर्विकल्पमनन्तं च
hetu dhrishtantavarjitam
हेतुदृष्टान्तवर्जितम्
aprameyamanadincha
अप्रमेयमनादिञ्च
yajñātvā muchyate buddha.
यज्ञात्वा मुच्यते बुधः.
Now, since this Atma or Brahma does not have any qualities, so what is the way to know this? The method given by Vedanta is what? Very famously called Neti Neti. What is it called? So, every part of Vedantic explanation of the truth is always in the language of negation. What? What is it? Nishkalam means where there is no kala. Nirvikalpam where there is no vikalpa. Niranjanam when there is no anjana. You see this? You will say, no, 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 Swamiji, what are you talking? There are so many times it is said, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Is that language positive or negative? Come on. Isn't it positive? Satyam. What is Atma? Satyam. It is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Have you heard that? So, Anantam is not positive. Is Ananta positive? No. What? Na antaha ananta. Okay. So, that word is gone. That is also na iti nati. That comes in that. Right? Now, Satyam and Jnanam. Sat and Chit. So, Atma is what? Sat. Now, what is Sat? Sat word is used to negate everything which is Asat. Have you got this point? By itself, Atma is not even Sat. Sat word is used just to negate everything which is Asat. Chit word is used to negate everything which is Jada. Have you got this? By itself, Atma is not Jada. So, this it is only defined by the language of negation, because itself, if you try to give any word to it, then what happens? It's not the truth. Then when all these Visheshta, speciality, characteristics, everything is removed, what remains is called Atma or Brahma. You understanding the process of this? So, that is why this very, very famous Nirvana Shatakam, how does it Shatakam, how does it start? Mano buddhya hankara chittam naham, not that. Nacha shrotra jivhe, nacha grana netre, not me. Nacha vyoma bhumi, I am not the five elements from which anything the whole world is made, I am not that also. And then we say Chidananda Rupa. So, we immediately something happens in our heart, Chidananda, and we think it is like a, and then we get very this, you know, that tune is very this, na? So, we fascinate, Chidananda Rupa, Shiva, feel good factor. I am telling you, we are stuck with feel good factor. Every meditation we measure, or any lecture, anything we measure with feel good factor. Is it a fact or not? Now, please remember, this is dangerous as far as meditation of Atma is concerned. It is not for what? Oh, Swamiji, just today we felt so nice. Then that was not Atma. Because Atma, there is no, you get this? Very difficult. That's why when you want that, I want it as it is. What it is, only that I want. Everything else I negate. Everything. That is why bhakti seems much more easy. Is it true or not? But we are all very wonderful, because we say, oh, bhakti is so easy, so easy. There's a very interesting part we have to understand about bhakti. About knowledge and bhakti is In knowledge, your ego goes last. And in bhakti, you have to surrender your ego first. Now, please tell me, is it easy to surrender your ego? Come on. First you have to. Bhakti sadhanas are easy, jnana sadhanas are difficult. Have you understood? Because many times we don't get this. Bhakti sadhanas are very easy. What? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, much more. This is what? Shravanam. You are also doing. Shravanam is easy or not? Come on. Right now. Swamiji, this Shravanam is much more difficult than evening Shravanam. Is it true or not? That only, and here is not that, Hare Rama. No feelings also, Rama. Swamiji, Kirtanam, can you, I remember this, it was very interesting. There was a morning class, all of us were sitting like that, Gurudev's time. So Gurudev came, and then naturally we always have some kirtan bhajan. So there was one very good singer, really wonderful, she's a wonderful singer. So she was doing Sarvam Brahmamayam, Re Re, Sarvam Brahmamayam. I am not a singer, huh? So she used to sing beautifully. Kim Vachaniyam, Kim Vachaniyam, Kim Bodhavyam, Kim Bodhavyam, Sarvam Brahmamayam. Okay? And naturally everyone, Sarvam Brahma. Gurudev walked in. He said, Re, 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 Re. What? This is not for singing. This is for meditation. Kim Vachaniyam, what can you speak about it? Kim Shrovtavyam, Kim Bodhavyam, what can you think about it? What can you do this? Sarvam Brahma. So this also, Manobuddhya Ahankar, not normally what we do, we Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, And then we are thinking of the next verse. Name Tvesha Raghav. What's next? Name Lobhamohau. What are we doing? There's nothing. It's not, you take out all of that. Naiti, Naiti, Naiti. Is it okay? Tad Brahma. What remains at the end of all that is me, my own self. Tad Brahma Jnatva Brahma Sampadyate Tada. That's when you attain the true self. And then it is said, Nirvikalpa Mananta. Now underline the word Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam. In the 9th verse, Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam. See, all the other things, na, you all will able to, you all have heard it enough, and also I am not going to focus. I am just taking a few things which I will focus. Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam means what? Hetu means logic in one way, and Drishtanta means examples. Now, how is all this explained to you, all of us? Normally, we always take use of examples. Why? We need the example. We use logic. We use examples. How do we say you are not the body? We use a logic. How do we say that? We says anything which is seen is not me. Drashta is different from drishya. Logic we use. How do you say, I see this book, I am not the book. There is an I which is seeing the book. So you use the logic what? I see the body and I am not the body. I know it. Knower is not the known. Thank God, because if the knower becomes the known, then I see a donkey, what will happen? Bolo, logically? No. That logic is so simple, so strong. So we use logic. Do we or do we not? Yes. But the Atma, that is simple logic, we use that, our experience. However, at a point of time, what happens? We have to drop even all, what? Logic. Everything has to be dropped. Vivarjitam, where logic has, now. Okay. All of us at some time or the other have read poems, heard poems, learned poems. There are some people who love poems, right? So, poetry. Now, how do you appreciate poetry? What is it, the faculty in your mind that you use to appreciate poetry? Is it logic? No. What is it? It's feelings and the appreciation of language. Is it true or not? The language and the feelings is what you do. So, this is the way to understand poetry, right? Now, you are not using logic. Does that make poetry illogical? Come on, simple question. You don't use logic, does it make it illogical? Atma also has to be understood what? It is beyond logic. Does that make it illogical? Because many times people say, this Vedanta and all is what? Illogical. If there is your God, show me your God. Haven't you heard so many people talking like that, show me that God. But you exist, don't you exist? That's proof enough. No, that's not proof. I want to see your God. But that's not an object of what? Perception. This Atma, I cannot bring it out. Why? Because it is not an object of perception. So scientifically, can we, if it was like that, we could have taken Atma in a test tube and said, okay, smell it, taste it, touch it, etc. and pass it on. We can't do that. So if I want to make Atma, you have to know Atma as Atma is, with the means that you can know Atma with. Poetry, you have to use different means. Science, you have to use different means. Just because poetry cannot be appreciated by the means that are used for science doesn't make it illogical and nonsense. Is that okay? Similarly, for Atma, the methodology is different. You have to use that methodology to get to the truth. You cannot use scientific methodologies to get to Atma. Very clear. Experimentation, perception, that is a way of doing a repetition. If a experiment you do and you don't get the same result once you repeat it, then you can't prove scientifically. Isn't it true? Science means every time you should, when you do the experiment, the result must come if it's done in the right way. Then you say, oh, this is the law. Why? Because we did an experiment again and again and the result is the same. What are you going to do the experiment with as far as Atma Gyan is concerned? You get the point. So the methodology is different. What is our methodology? Bolo. What is our methodology? Naiti. Naiti. This is our methodology. Use that and you will get to it. Okay? And every time you will get to the same result. That is very interesting. Swamiji. Now, I want you to also think about this. Drishtanta also Varjitam. Whenever we use Hetu and we use Drishtanta, but don't get into the trap of Hetu and Drishtanta. We all of us as Vedantic students many times get into the trap of examples. Trap of examples means we get into Shabda Jalam. Let me explain this to you. Sometimes we understand the examples and we think we have understood the Siddhanta. What? We think we have understood the principle when we have only understood the, is it a fact or not? Many times we don't do the application to the Siddhanta. And sometimes we want the examples, we try to apply it in toto with the principle. It never works. Examples have their own limitation. Let's take the famous snake and rope. How many times have you heard snake and rope? Can you even count the number of times? And after that also we will still use the same one only. Swamiji, something else you use. No, this is the best one. Now, the difference, the great difference, see, these are all things we have to appreciate. The limitations of examples. Snake is also a seen thing. Rope is also a seen thing. And you have an experience of both of them independently. Do you or do you not? You have seen a snake in your life? Yes. You have seen a rope in your life? Yes. Both are experienced things. Now what do we say? The snake superimposed on the rope. Very easy to understand. Why? You have seen the rope. also in your life. You have experiences, so you say. Now, have you experienced Atma like that? The substratum of this whole, oh, you have not, it's not. So what do? We think there is some base, something is there, and on that something is. Is it true or not in your imaginations? Have you all done that or not? Come on. The word superimposition, the minute you say superimposition, you'll say something on top. Is it something like that? Come on. All of you do it or not? All of us do it. I'll give you the example. I'm just showing you a few of things like that we do. We don't understand these are all. If you start doing mananam, you'll realize all these things, and you'll remove it, you'll drop all these things. Now, for example, I'm talking in this language. Why? Because you all are all Bahushrutas. You have heard a lot. Yeah? So you go into the next step of things, right? Now, the word all pervading, what does it bring to your mind? Come on, quickly. All pervading. Immediately you start thinking of space and you say everywhere, everywhere, here, and you go into outer space and everywhere. Is it true or not? Come on. What happened inside your mind when I said all pervading? What happened? Everywhere, and immediately it goes to outer space for what one knows what reason. Yes or no? Everywhere. In the distant stars also everywhere. So you're thinking stars and all that, everywhere. Still you're stuck with space. You get the point? You're only talking about space. You're not talking about Atma. You get the point? What you are thinking about, that everywhere is only space and not Atma. Atma's all-pervasiveness is completely different from space all-pervasiveness. But 99.9% when we are thinking of all-pervasiveness of Atma, we are only thinking of all-pervasiveness of space. Is it true or not? That's what I mean by when we do mananam. So Shravanam is important, but then starts what? It's a different thing. So we say, no, all pervasive. Atma is not all pervasive like space. It is used only as an example. But how is this? Wherever space is there, Atma is there, or wherever Atma is there, space is there. So, like space is there, Atma is also there. So two things move together everywhere, you're there, everywhere, below, above, below space, above space, no, under space, with space, inside space, everywhere. Meaning what? That poor Atma is moving everywhere with what? Our space, everywhere. I tell you, wherever it is, under, below, everywhere. So what are you still doing? So two things are there, no? Atma and space, everywhere. See, I'm asking you to think. See, same thing. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. So I'm thinking. So this Atma and space, the same thing. What is the meaning of all pervasive? Atma is all pervasive. Space is all pervasive. What do I mean by that? Like space means what? Is it space? No, it's not. It's like space. Means what? Now what happens if I give you just one straight answer, you will write it down and you'll stop thinking. I don't want to do that. These are all realizations that should come what? From inside. The next step, I'm not going to say it. It's a very simple statement for me to make, but I'm not going to say it. Are you okay with it? Everyone? Half of you are not agreeing with me. Just say it and finish it. How is it different and all? No, then you won't do any thinking. See, these are things you are supposed to think in your discussion. Purinjada. Okay. स्वामी जी अभी इधर नींद आती है, वहाँ तो ब्रेकफास्ट खाने के बाद में तो okay. So hetu, we must understand, logic is very important, but how? What is there? Drishtant also has their limitations. Words have their limitations. So understand what exactly is the meaning of it. Do that mananam. And for Mananam, you don't need outside things. This is another thing which I always keep telling everyone. You don't need anything. You have your body, you have your mind, you have already got the knowledge. Knowledge is with you. You need that knowledge. You just have to bring that knowledge which you already have heard and understood and bring it into this. And says, what is the meaning of this all-pervasiveness? I am all-pervading. So am I space? Then again that heard knowledge will say, no, you are not space, you are beyond space. Can there be any beyond space, space-wise? Can there be like your space ends and then what? There is something. What is the meaning of the word beyond? When I say beyond means what? So we always think that is there and then don't we think like that? Come on. Till here it is there and then? So there is space till here and then? No, that doesn't make sense. How can there be beyond space? There will be space only. Understood. You have it in you. You don't need anything at that time. Leave all of that and then think. You're all waiting for me to tell you answers, still I can see that. Bol do? Everyone saying yes. Okay, fine. See what happens when you start thinking. This is again knowledge you have got. See, when you do Mananam, what do you realize? What you have heard is very important. Remember, Shravanam is the base. Even for Bhakti, Guruji also said, na, Shravanam is the base. Similarly, for Vedanta also, Shravana is the base. But that's not the end of it, okay? For Brahmagnani Purushas, I mean, for a very Krutopasti seeker, Shravanam means Brahmagnanam, finish, end of the matter. But for us, what is the next step? We want to get to Nididhyasan before we want to do what? Manana. We are all Mahapurushas. I want to eat the third roti first. Why? Third roti only will make my stomach full. So, what am I going to do? Third roti first. Doesn't work that way. First roti first, second roti, then the third roti. Similarly here also, what am I supposed to do? This Mananam, very important. Okay. So how would you do it? Let's say this thing, all pervasive. Can we do that? All pervasive. So now, what is it? There is space and it's everywhere. So now I am going to ask myself a question. Wherever there is space, there is Atma, has to be. Why? Because Atma is also all pervasive. But wherever there is Atma, there is space. Does that have to be there? Not necessary. Why? In the deep sleep state, there is no space, but I exist. So therefore, there is Atma without space. Okay. But then Atma is all pervasive. It's everywhere. So what is the meaning of that? So there is an Atma which is beyond space. Where there is no space also that Atma is there, but where there is space also Atma is there. What is the meaning of that? How can this Atma, which is what? There, even when there is no space, be where all space is. What is that nature of that Atma that makes it present everywhere in space and yet keep its entity as beyond space, where there is no space? How can that be? The only way I can say is, see, if space is all pervading, there must be a spaceless entity which can make it beyond space. So Atma is spaceless and therefore it is all pervading. Not because it is everywhere in that way. Atma is spaceless. It has no characteristics, naiti, naiti. So space is also out. It is no space. That is that Atma. Because it is spaceless, it is everywhere. That spaceless entity, I am. I am spaceless. And therefore, naturally, I am everywhere. Okay. Na iti. Na iti. This is me, a spaceless me. Okay. Take up any of these things, any concept, and start going deep inside. And you will come to what? The conclusion that you come to is always a Vedantic truth only, which you have heard. It's not different from that. Remember? Adesha, akala, avastu, isn't it? It's the same conclusion. But our concept of space, this no, everywhere will go away. Now I understand that Atma is all pervasive because it is spaceless. What a beautiful conclusion. Okay. Think about it. As I always say, it is my thinking cannot help you. Okay. I can just, because what happens many times people say, teach us how to do mananam. We have done Shravanam 100,000 times. How to do mananam? For mananam you don't need books, you already got that Shravanam in your head. You don't need, what we do in the name of mananam is repetition, ratanam. Is it true or not? Same thing again, we understood. Bolo. So we have to do this. Then we come to the, okay, I am this, I am that. And the exact same thing what is said in Vedanta is what I will. You will only be confirming the what? Vedantic truths when you do mananam. But this you have come to what? Yourself. Not as heard knowledge. Very clear. Not as understood knowledge, but as accept, I am that. Yes, I am that. Okay. So I am all pervasive because I am spaceless. That's why I, of course, then I have to be all pervasive. I cannot not be all pervasive because I am spaceless. So no limitations of space can be in me. So I am definitely what? All pervasive. पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ